Hi, I'm Dr. Margaret Paul. I'm a renowned relationship expert and a best-selling author, and I've been working with couples in crisis for over 50 years. And what I'm about to share is the solution you've been searching for if you've been thinking about breaking up with your partner because things just feel too hard or broken, or because your partner's not meeting your needs or giving you the kind of love you want, or because your partner hasn't tried hard enough, or never listens, or whatever the reason you feel your relationship is doomed, or if you're just settling for way less than what you want. Because what I'm about to reveal over the next 60 minutes is going to flip the switch on all these problems and on your relationship. In fact, I'm going to reveal why breaking up may be a massive mistake and the 3 real reasons you feel so unhappy in your relationship. This invaluable information will not only help you avoid a breakup and all the pain, sadness, regret, uncertainty, and complete life upheaval that comes along with it, but it will also bring back all the butterflies and bliss you and your partner experienced in the early days, and without spending a small fortune on therapy fees or expensive coaching programs. And the added side benefit is that this process also heals anxiety, loneliness, depression, sadness, neediness, shame, insecurity, and feelings of emptiness. Yes, really. I know that sounds impossible, but I've helped tens of thousands of individuals and couples for decades, healing their emotions and their relationships with what I'm about to share with you. But first of all, I want to acknowledge where you're at. I know exactly what it's like to be in a relationship that feels unloving, dysfunctional, difficult, and unsatisfying. Before I discovered what I'm about to teach you, my marriage was like that too. I know how frustrated and disappointed you feel and why you might be thinking you deserve better and that leaving is the only logical solution to put an end to the dysfunction and unhappiness. And I know, after months or maybe even years of ruminating and agonizing, you may be thinking how much easier it would be if you were with the right person, because surely all this indicates that you're with the wrong person, right? In my experience, with the exception of abuse, that is, I'd have to say wrong. And by the end of this webinar, you'll understand why. Here's a quick rundown of what we'll be covering. Firstly, I'll be revealing the number 1 reason breakup is often a massive mistake, even if your relationship feels loveless or hopeless, and why finding someone new rarely is the answer. Next, I'll reveal why you feel so lonely, fearful, anxious, or even depressed in your relationship, and why this actually has nothing to do with your partner. And lastly, I'll reveal the real reason why the love you once shared has been replaced with so much resentment, blame, distance, and conflict. This is such a sneaky issue because most people don't even realize they're doing it. In fact, if you're anything like most of my clients, your initial reaction might be, "But I don't do that." More on this common, yet destructive, behavior shortly. But before we get started, I get you might be wondering by this point, who am I? And why should you listen to me? I hold a PhD in psychology. I'm a sought-after relationship expert. I'm also a noted public speaker, workshop leader, educator, and chaplain and consultant and artist. I've appeared on many radio and TV shows, including The Oprah Show. I'm also a best-selling author, having written many books on relationships, and I've worked with individuals, couples, and professionals, and have taught classes and seminars since 1967. But more importantly, I've helped tens of thousands of people all over the world save their relationships and heal their emotions using a very powerful 6-step process I co-founded, which you'll discover more about shortly. But before we get started, I know what it's like to sit in on a webinar these days and all of the digital distractions that can steal your focus. But this webinar is the golden ticket to solving your relationship problems. And that if you just give your undivided attention for the next 45 minutes or so, you'll know why your relationship is hanging on by a thread and what you can do to resuscitate it. Plus, at the end of the webinar, I have something very special for you that's going to give you all the tools and support you need to put what I reveal into action. In fact, when this process is followed, it always works. But you have to watch this webinar until the very end in order to get it. So make sure you stick around. I promise it will be worth your time. So now that we've got the formalities out of the way, I want you to close your eyes and imagine how great your life would be if you truly loved yourself, and if you no longer look to others to give you the love and validation you desperately seek. And imagine the kind of effect this would have on your relationship and the kind of closeness you'd experience with your partner once you felt more at peace with yourself. And now imagine how empowered you might feel knowing that you can heal your past emotional wounds and trauma and pain all by yourself and without needing a partner or someone else to make you feel better. All this is possible and so much more with the process I'm about to reveal to you. So let's begin with the first reason breaking up is usually a massive mistake, which is the grass is rarely greener. No matter who you're with, you'll always feel unsatisfied in your relationship until you give yourself what you're seeking from others. If you're watching this, I'm going to take a guess that you're feeling pretty lonely in your relationship, that you're longing for more love and connection, like you had in the early days when you started to fall in love, and everything felt wonderful. In fact, you've probably been trying so hard to bring back the spark, joy, and excitement you and your partner once shared. But instead, you keep running into the same problems and having the same exhausting conversations. But nothing changes. Well, not for long anyway. You don't like yourself in this relationship. You don't like who you've become. Unfulfilled, depressed, anxious, angry, or maybe you've completely lost yourself. By this point, it's only natural that you're pointing the finger at your partner. If only they tried harder or loved you the way you wanted, your relationship wouldn't be falling apart. Often, you think it might be easier to just start over with someone else, especially if things have gotten so bad. It's easy to think it's your partner's fault and that you're simply in the wrong relationship. Which is why I need you to pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Because about 41% of first marriages end in divorce. But that's not the statistic you should be most concerned about. What's even more alarming is that 60% of second marriages and 73% of third marriages end in divorce. This may be surprising to you, but it's not to me, because I've worked with couples in crisis for decades. When someone comes to me and says they've fallen out of love, they typically believe it's the other person's fault, and they think they'll leave and find something better. But here's the little detail they're missing. They take themselves with them, and so do you. No matter what the problems are in your current relationship, they will be in your future relationship too, even though you're partnered with someone else. That's because you carry your issues from relationship to relationship. This means you will keep repeating similar painful patterns, no matter who your partner happens to be. In other words, you'll never be truly at peace and happy in a relationship unless you recognize and heal your wounds first. This is the reason why people leave a marriage only to feel defeated in the next one. They keep picking new partners, thinking that this one will make everything all right. They start off with high hopes, only to eventually hit a wall and feel stuck yet again because they never resolved their own issues in the first place. When you have two people coming into a relationship expecting the other person to make everything all right, you have the recipe for relationship dysfunction. When you're blind to your unhealed issues, you can only see blame. You think or say things like, I must have made the wrong choice. If only he would change, we would have a chance. I'm further along than my partner is. These are the kinds of statements I hear all the time from clients, and perhaps you've said a few of them yourself. These statements are placing blame for the problems in a relationship squarely on the shoulders of the other person. But the reality is that when both people come into a relationship with unhealed issues, they both create painful relationship dynamics. That means that regardless of the particular problems in your relationship, both of you are creating the problems and keeping them alive. Each of you are playing a part in a finely orchestrated dance, as dysfunctional as it may feel. But here's the really exciting part. While it takes two people to make a relationship dysfunctional, it only takes one person to change it. It's tempting to see how your partner is causing problems. You think things would be so much better if only he or she would change. But if you're in a relationship that is not working, you need to examine your end of the system and commit to healing it, especially if you think most of the fault lies in your partner. In fact, when someone tells me they're further along than their partner in their growth, I immediately know this isn't true and that they still need to heal. Because someone who has truly evolved beyond their wounding doesn't feel superior to their partner and isn't looking for deficits in him or her. When you have uncovered and healed your own issues, you stop playing your part in the painful dynamics that exist within your relationship. You effectively interrupt the pattern by removing your dysfunctional part in it. When one person stops fighting, withdrawing, or resisting, there's nothing for the other to fight against, complain about, or resist. At this point, one of two things will happen. The painful problems in your relationship will resolve, or it will become evident that your partner isn't capable of creating the kind of healthy relationship you want. This is why you should never leave a relationship until you've healed your part of the dysfunction, unless, of course, there's physical or intense emotional abuse. Once you heal your end, the relationship might heal. But if you don't take full responsibility for your own healing, you'll simply go on to repeat similar patterns in your next relationship. This leads me to the second reason you shouldn't break up with your partner, which is you feel anxious, fearful, depressed, and lonely because of the false beliefs and resulting self-abandoning behavior that you learned in childhood, not because of your partner. I know upon hearing this, you might be thinking, but I feel lonely and anxious because they don't make enough time for me or don't seem to love me anymore. If they were different, I'd feel different. I understand why you might be thinking this. In fact, I did the same thing in my marriage. I thought I was doing everything right, when in fact I was driving a bigger wedge between us as a result of my excessive caretaking and people-pleasing. I thought by giving my everything to the relationship and losing myself in the process, I was acting from a place of selfless love. I didn't realize it was all attached to an agenda, which was my need to feel needed and loved. I felt if I was needed and indispensable, then I was lulled into feeling that I would not be rejected. Then I'd be safe, or so I thought. Meanwhile, all my doing kept me busy enough to avoid the uncomfortable feelings associated with feeling unwanted and unloved. These were false beliefs I developed when I was a child and was brought up in a highly dysfunctional family, and were the real source of all the anxiety, loneliness, and sadness I was experiencing. And the more I people-pleased, in other words, giving to get love and emotional security, the more anxious and alone I felt. Maybe you can relate. It's easy to think that the reason you feel lonely and anxious is because your partner is in some way abandoning or rejecting you. But the truth is, the reason you're in so much pain is because you're abandoning yourself, just like I was. And nothing can bring down a relationship like self-abandonment. But not just in romantic relationships. It can sabotage all your relationships. What's more, self-abandonment is one of the biggest causes of loneliness, anxiety, depression, and shame. Which explains why, if you've tried everything under the sun to heal these issues before, such as traditional talk therapy, meditation, mindfulness, yoga, self-help books, or even plant medicine in the jungles of Peru, they've only had a Band-Aid effect. They might have temporarily eased your discomfort, but the issues always have a way of coming back unless you actually deal with the real issue, which is self-abandonment. Self-abandonment is what happens when you make someone else responsible for your feelings and sense of self-worth. Many women do this through excessive caretaking, people-pleasing, putting their partner's needs above their own, and through another destructive tactic that I'll reveal shortly, all in an attempt to get love and approval, and therefore safety. But essentially, when you self-abandon, you're looking to someone outside you to take away your uncomfortable feelings and make you feel okay. We are all prone to do this, and as mentioned, it started in childhood. You came into life expecting to be loved. But if your parents or caregivers didn't know how to love or see who you are in your beautiful essence, you might have concluded that there must be something wrong with you. And this started your ongoing quest for love and acceptance, which, left unhealed, will last an entire lifetime, and no matter who you're with or how many relationships you have. Even if you had very loving parents, you would have experienced some amount of pain. We all have, because no human being can provide 100% love for us all the time. And if, when you didn't feel the love, you decided there was something wrong with you, then you started feeling very uncomfortable feelings, depression, anxiety, emptiness, and anger. Back then, you coped by doing what kids and teenagers do, withdrawing, rebelling, or conforming as a way to get attention and love. Then you grew up and discovered something amazing called romantic love. Aha, the little child inside you thought, this person will give me the love I didn't get. But this feeling is short-lived because here's the thing. You attract according to your level of self-abandonment and self-love. Therefore, in a troubled relationship, both people have unhealed self-abandonment, and their problems stem from controlling behavior on both sides. In trying to get love and avoid pain, both partners will engage in a variety of dysfunctional behaviors that can inevitably lead to fighting, disconnection, and often to infidelity. As each partner tries to get love from the other, they end up pushing each other away, creating even more anxiety, emptiness, and anger. So it's very important to learn how to create our own sense of worth rather than giving that power to your partner. When you make your partner responsible for making you feel okay, you will place an impossible burden on them to take away all your uncomfortable feelings. As a result, they will feel pressured, smothered, and controlled. And even if your partner does try to love you, there's nowhere for the love to land. Because if you don't love yourself first, you will not be able to fully receive someone else's love. You won't feel worthy of the love you so desperately want. Your love for yourself provides the foundation for their love to land in your heart and soul. Because you cannot connect with others when you're disconnected from yourself. And you cannot share love with others when you're not loving yourself. But when you realize that you're the only person who can truly make you feel okay, you welcome the opportunity to take responsibility for your feelings. You make it your job to feel good, which in turn takes the pressure off your partner to make everything right. And if by magic, even long-standing problems can melt away. Teaching people how to do this is my life's work, and it's the work that has helped couples in crisis completely transform their relationships where traditional therapy failed. This is the power of the inner bonding process. But before I tell you more about the inner bonding process and how it can heal self-abandonment and save your relationship, I want to discuss the third and final reason relationships fail. The reason is a very sneaky and destructive cause of conflict and resentment in your relationship, and you're probably totally blind to what it really is. As mentioned, in searching for the perfect partner, what you're really doing is looking for someone to give you the perfect love your parents never could. Because you've self-abandoned and abdicated personal responsibility for your feelings, you feel an urgency to make sure your partner gives you what you're not giving yourself. You try to control your partner so you can get the love you crave. Wait, you say, I'm not controlling. But the control I'm talking about, the one that sabotages so many relationships, isn't the kind of control you might imagine. It's true that control can be overt and obvious, like being domineering, jealous, demanding, and a bully. But it can also be covert and much harder to spot. This is the much more subtle form of control, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. While the overt forms of control are associated with having power over somebody, the subtle forms of covert control are really misguided attempts to get love and feel safe. Let me explain both forms of control in more detail so you can see what I mean, starting with overt control. Overt control leaves you feeling stifled because your partner is always telling you what to do or how to feel. For example, they might say, "Isn't that a lot of makeup? I don't want you going out for drinks after work. You should be coming straight home. Why did you spend that much money on clothes? You should lose some weight and start working out, then you'll feel better. You need a hobby that's not going to be so time-consuming." When someone says these types of things to you, it's easy to recognize their controlling behavior. But I get you might be thinking that you're not like that. that you're not a controlling person because you don't tell your partner what to do. Here's the thing. Sometimes we try to control what people do, and other times we might try to control how they feel about us and react to us. While you might not be the former, you may just be the latter. Instead, you are nice, sometimes too nice. You do so much for your partner. Perhaps you clean or fix things around the house, plan or cook most of the meals, remind your partner of important appointments, and you encourage him or her to better themselves through classes or therapy. You're always there when your partner needs to talk or vent. You have a sense of when they need you, and you're more than happy to be there for them. In fact, you sometimes put off doing what you want to do in order to support your partner. You're not overbearing or critical. You choose your words carefully because you just don't like rocking the boat. You want to pick your battles. When you do get upset, you'd rather just stay quiet and let your partner come to you to smooth things over. You're not going to tell them what to do or how to feel about you. You want them to figure that out for themselves. You'd never want your partner to think you're a controlling person, because you're not. But guess what? If you relate to what I just shared, you are controlling. I know that might be hard to hear, but this is very common in relationships. And not only is it common, it's highly destructive. But where does this need to control come from, you might ask? First of all of us control. There's no blame in trying to control. We all do this. We learned it when we were children, when we were much too little for the big feelings we felt. No matter how great your parents were, you likely experienced a lot of pain when you were young. Most of us did. Heartbreak, loss, anger, disappointment. It happened, and we were too little to manage it. These feelings scared us, and we tried whatever we could to feel better. Some of us rebelled, thinking that if we caused a fuss, we would get more attention from our parents. Some of us conformed, making as little fuss as possible in the hopes that this would buy us the love and comfort we needed. Either way, we were trying to control other people in order to feel loved and avoid pain. Back then, we just didn't have tools to handle our emotions, and so we coped by learning other ways to get the love we craved. These old ways don't serve us now. Problems happen in our adult relationships when we carry forward the control mechanisms we learned as children. Some people grow up and become possessive and jealous. If they keep close tabs on their partner and demand they spend all their time with them, they think they can control their partner into staying with them or behaving in a way that makes them feel safe. Some of us, like myself, wanted to control whether or not people rejected us by becoming people pleasers or caretakers or overly accommodating. It may look very agreeable on the outside, but it's still controlling behavior. It's being nice in order to get something in return. Anything that has an agenda attached to it, for example, if I do this, he'll do that, is a form of control. And every time you have the intention to control, you're actually trying to get love from someone else in order to feel safe. You've essentially handed over responsibility for your feelings and abandoned yourself in the process. You are relying on someone else to make you feel good, rather than knowing you are lovable and will be okay no matter what anyone says or does. And this is a very scary, precarious place to be. That's because controlling behavior eventually results in creating whatever it is you are trying to avoid. You control to get love and avoid pain, yet by controlling rather than loving yourself and others, you create the very pain you're trying to avoid. You people please and abandon your own needs to get love and respect, but it backfires when you feel unappreciated and burned out, so you get angry and resentful of your partner. You stonewall or bite your tongue in order to make your partner feel comfortable around you so they won't reject you, but in doing so, you suppress your own pain, and over time, you grow apart from the person you wanted to love forever. You yell, make demands, or blame your partner because you want to control how your partner behaves in order to feel secure in the relationship. But you end up losing them anyway because they get tired of being abused by you. Fortunately, once you learn to recognize how control is running your life and what you can do to heal it, you can tap into an unending source of love, safety, and acceptance, no matter whom you're with or whether or not you're even in a relationship to begin with. For me personally, it was a huge awakening when I realized how many controlling things I did to try and get others to be loving with me. Accepting my lack of control over how others chose to treat me has been extremely freeing. Now, if someone is unloving to me, I'm no longer compliant in an effort to get them to be loving. I just go to my higher self and find out what it means to take care of myself in the face of their unloving behavior, accepting that I have no control over how another chooses to be. Accepting that I can't control others' feelings or behavior has freed me to take loving care of myself. And this is exactly what I teach in the 6-step inner bonding process. This simple process gives you practical tools to help you uncover what's really happening in your relationship and unearth any control tactics that might be keeping you trapped in a dysfunctional dynamic. You'll learn the various ways you might be controlling your partner or other people in your life in order to get love and avoid pain. Upon learning these, you might actually be very surprised to discover the hidden agendas you carry in order to get approval or protect yourself. And most importantly, you'll learn how to break free from controlling behaviors so you can finally feel the love you so desperately need and understandably desire. But the inner bonding process doesn't just replace control tactics with love. It heals everything I've spoken about in this webinar. And I can teach you how to do it and so much more in my Deeply in Love bundle. If you're ready to say goodbye to painful and unfulfilling patterns of self-abandonment and controlling behaviors, and you'd like to rekindle the closeness you once shared with your partner and avoid going through another breakup, and if you want to free yourself from feelings of anxiety, depression, loneliness, and shame for good, so you can experience profound inner peace and feel more joyful on a daily basis, then the Deeply in Love bundle is for you. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to explain what you'll get in this unique bundle, which you won't find anywhere else, and for a special low price. First, you'll get access to my top-selling online program, Wildly, Deeply, Joyously in Love. In this breakthrough program, you'll learn all 6 steps of the inner bonding process and go through a 30-day course where you'll get to practice inner bonding within the framework of your relationship. Included with the program is a short daily video where you'll learn the techniques in bite-sized pieces so you can easily absorb this invaluable wisdom. Each video includes a loving action which will allow you to put your new learning into immediate practice. You'll also get an ebook with a lesson each day, with client examples that build on the video and expand on the principles. You'll also get a 7-day inner bonding course, which will guide you through the same 6-step process that has helped so many men and women find inner peace and joy in their relationships. Once you go through the program, You'll learn how to do inner bonding within your relationship. You'll find that even long-standing difficult issues get resolved, and incredible closeness takes their place. Power struggles are replaced with compassion and understanding. Adversaries become allies. If once there was jealousy and hypervigilance, there's now a sense of freedom and trust and security that makes the partners want to get closer. Where before there was an intent to blame and find fault, the couple now sees the higher good in each other. And if every decision felt like a negotiation and lackluster compromise, the partners learn to rally together and create solutions that feel good to both of them. The most delightful surprise of all, when partners are no longer controlling to get love and they feel boundless love within, they naturally want to share it. This is what you really want, the sense of overflowing love you've been fruitlessly trying to feel through attempts to control. You've been going around in circles where there's a shortcut, and it's right inside you. You just need the right tools to address your need for control at the source, learn to soothe your own feelings, and create the space for love to flow within you so that you can then truly share it in an intimate relationship. The inner bonding process has helped thousands of couples fall back in love and finally move beyond resentment, fear, neediness, control patterns, and self-abandonment. And it's helped individuals heal lifelong feelings of emptiness, loneliness, anxiety, and depression, all by themselves. It's helped heal where other therapies have failed. And now I'd like to share this simple, highly effective process with you. In short, by the end of this program, you'll walk away with all the skills, insights, and tools you need to heal yourself and your relationship. It will save you potentially thousands of dollars in therapy or expensive coaching programs and will transform the root cause of why you're feeling so stuck in your relationship and emotionally. Next, I'd like to introduce you to the first of 3 special bonuses you'll get with the Deeply in Love bundle. The first bonus that's included is the Thriving at Last ebook and audiobook. In this comprehensive step-by-step manual, you'll discover the theory and why of inner bonding, in addition to therapeutic self-reflection exercises that take you through this process in real time. After you learn and practice the 6-step process of inner bonding contained in this ebook, you'll be able to uncover the hidden reasons why you're unhappy. You'll finally be able to bring to light the underlying beliefs and feelings that are driving your patterns, and you'll discover the specific actions you need to take in order to be loving to yourself. As you work the 6 steps, whenever you feel something less than peaceful and full inside, you'll likely find the painful feelings subsiding, and you're enjoying a greater sense of lightness and openness. You'll be much less likely to lash out at loved ones or sink into a funk for no apparent reason because you're expressing what you've been afraid to express or doing what you've wanted to do for yourself for so long. You'll begin to challenge the beliefs driving your negative internal voice and feel it transform into a voice of understanding and encouragement instead of judgment. Your internal voice will become your best friend and a source of unlimited wisdom. You'll start to value your body, health, and well-being, and actually enjoy healthier foods and exercise, and have an easier time saying no to addictive junk foods. You'll feel greater empathy and compassion for others because you'll see that they too have inner pain just like you. You won't be nervous or jealous of anyone's good fortune because you'll have everything you need to feel whole and happy. You'll be deeply aware of your own goodness, worth, and lovability, which will not only heal your internal pain and dysfunctional patterns, but will make you incredibly attractive to your partner or potential partners. And if someone doesn't see your worth and lovability, you'll be perfectly okay with that, because you'll be solid in how you feel about yourself. Best of all, you'll no longer feel responsible for others' feelings, which makes it effortless to set appropriate boundaries and keep a safe distance from toxic, abusive people. You'll be willing to lose others rather than lose yourself to manipulative, controlling, or abusive behavior. You won't feel the impulse to want to fix anyone either. You'll be firmly rooted in the belief that you can make yourself happy no matter what's happening in your life, or who is or isn't in your life at any given moment. This is the key to your peace of mind and happiness, not blaming your circumstances, not blaming others and their treatment of you, but being loving to yourself, taking full responsibility for your pain, and doing what you need to do to heal it. After reading this ebook and going through the exercises, you'll finally be thriving in all areas of your life, because the heavy, difficult emotions you've been struggling with will no longer be pulling you down. Instead, you'll feel capable, valuable, lovable, and respectable. And as a result, you'll be on an unstoppable path to live your best life. Plus, you'll also receive this book in audio form, and you can listen while on the go and re-listen to any sections that really resonate with you, which will further embed this wisdom into your mind and help you experience faster transformation. The next bonus you'll get access to is an interview where I reveal my best insights and advice on how you can navigate conflict within your relationship in a way that allows you to learn about yourself and your partner, so you can actually strengthen your relationship. Conflict within relationships is inevitable, especially when childhood wounds are unhealed and one person is scared of being rejected and the other person is fearing engulfment. So in this interview, you'll learn how to move through conflict with more awareness and skill so you can find a resolution and return to love. And lastly, the final bonus you'll get access to is another interview where I reveal how to deal with anxiety and depression. In this in-depth interview, you'll learn more about these states, why they're so prevalent these days, and what I believe to be the 3 main contributors of them, which includes unhealed childhood wounds, diet, and self-abandonment. If you've ever suffered from either of these conflict conditions before, you won't want to miss this interview, as I'll be discussing them in a way you might not have heard before, which is based on over 50 years of my experience. Now you're probably wondering how much all this costs. I don't believe healing should be limited to those who can afford to spend thousands on therapy, and I don't think healing needs to take years either. That's why I'm going to offer you this special bundle today, which includes my signature program, Wildly, Deeply, Joyously in Love, which takes you step by step through the inner bonding process, in addition to 3 bonuses, including the Thriving at Last ebook and audiobook, plus the 2 bonus interviews on relationship conflict and dealing with depression and anxiety, for the low investment of just $149.97, or 3 payments of just $49.99. Usually the Wildly, Deeply, Joyously in Love program on its own sells for $199.97, but today you'll get it for 25% off. Plus, Flourish and I also want to offer you the 3 bonuses, which have a combined value of $66 absolutely free. Why? Because we want to help you move beyond all the painful patterns of self-abandonment, control, anxiety, depression, loneliness, sadness, and empty feelings that have been getting in the way of you having and maintaining the relationship you deserve. And even more importantly, we want you to finally experience what it's like to have a peaceful, loving relationship within yourself. Because when you do, once you truly love yourself and you see how worthy, valuable, and capable you are, your entire life will transform. Not only would this save you a huge amount of emotional energy day in and day out, because you're no longer looking to others to fill up your love cup, but you also create so much more room for joy, connection, acceptance, and love in your relationships. And not just in your romantic relationships, but in every relationship in your life. When you no longer feel needy, desperate, insecure, or fearful, you can show up as the highest version of yourself, the person you long to be. Inner bonding is a complete, proven process that gets to the root cause of all these problems. So rather than having to work with a couples therapist, a different therapist to heal your emotions, using different tools to manage anxiety or depression or loneliness, for example, you'll have one powerful process for everything. That's how powerful the 6-step inner bonding process is. Given I've been teaching this process since 1985, I can assure you it always works, as long as you commit to the process, which I'll be guiding you through step by step. And when you take advantage of this special offer today, which you won't find anywhere else for this price, you'll have all the skills, tools, and support you need, and for just $149.97 or 3 easy payments of only $49.99, which is far less than I charge for a single therapy session. Together, everything would sell for $265, but today you can get everything for just $149.97 or 3 easy payments of just $49.99. That's over 40% off the regular price. But I get you might have some doubts about whether this bundle can really help you, specifically if up to now you've tried everything to heal. There certainly isn't a short supply of people promising you a healing solution, but very few have over 50 years of experience and thousands of success stories to back their process up like I do. But just in case you're still skeptical, when you get the Deeply in Love bundle today, you'll also get a 7-day money-back, no questions asked guarantee. So there's zero risk by taking advantage of this opportunity today. Simply take the bundle for a test drive, and if you don't think it can help you heal your relationship, emotions, and life, simply email our customer support and I'll happily refund your money. My genuine desire is to help you heal your relationship, avoid an unnecessary breakup, and finally free yourself from your emotional wounds and painful patterns. So I want to remove all risk by helping you make the best decision for you today. To get started, simply click the button below to get instant access to the Deeply in Love bundle now. And just a reminder, you won't find this offer anywhere else, and for such a low price either. Today literally could be the day that everything starts to change in your relationship and in your life. And I personally can't wait to hear about your transformations in the coming weeks and months. Thanks so much for watching. I hope at the very least I filled you with hope that you can save your relationship and avoid a painful breakup, and that if thousands of people have had success with this exact process, so can you. To get started, simply hit the button below.